On this channel, we're not here to recycle common knowledge or repeat what everyone already believes to be true. What we're doing is something very different. We're trying to piece together fragments of reality and reveal a bigger picture that has been deliberately kept out of reach. The problem isn't that information is hidden. The problem is that it's fragmented, scattered, and presented to us as if none of it is connected. Most people grow up believing the world is already understood, that science has explained the fundamentals, that reality is stable, predictable, and fully mapped out. But that's just the surface layer. Science operates within boundaries, strict ones. Anything that falls outside those boundaries is quickly labeled as an anomaly, an error, or dismissed as a psychological issue. Not because it doesn't exist, but because acknowledging it would break the model entirely.
So you think those limits are intentional?
They have to be. Otherwise, how do you explain why certain topics are explored endlessly while others are shut down almost immediately? Anything related to UFOs, unexplained entities, altered states of consciousness, it all gets pushed into the margins. Military structures and governments play a key role in this. They don't just hide information, they shape the narrative so that these topics appear unreliable, ridiculous, or not worth serious attention. But here's the real point. The truth is already partially available. It leaks through different sources, ancient texts, modern sightings, personal testimony. And when you start connecting those dots, a pattern begins to emerge. What we're looking at is not a collection of random phenomena, but parts of a single system. I knew someone who was given access to classified material. Not rumors, not speculation, actual documents. After going through them, he was completely disoriented for 2 weeks. It was like his mind couldn't process what he had seen. And when he was offered access to more, he refused, not out of fear, but because he understood that beyond that point, there was no going back.
Was it really that intense?
It went beyond anything he thought was possible. He said it was more extreme than the most radical science fiction because it was real. And that's the key. We underestimate the scale of what's being hidden. Now look at what we already have. The Book of Enoch, an ancient text describing entities descending from the heavens and interacting with humanity. Today, we have thousands of recorded UFO sightings worldwide. Cryptids, creatures that officially don't exist yet continue to be reported. Voices in the head, dismissed as mental illness even though their true nature is still not fully understood. Near-death experiences, people from completely different cultures describing nearly identical events.
And you think all of this is connected?
Not just connected, very likely part of the same underlying mechanism. We're observing different expressions of one system, without understanding the structure behind it. And that leads to the most important question. If this is a system, who or what is behind it? Because systems don't exist on their own. They're either created or controlled.
And that's what's being hidden.
More than hidden, suppressed to the point where people don't even think to ask the question, because the moment you do, your perception of reality starts to shift, and that's dangerous for the current order. If we assume that the world is influenced or even controlled by forces we're not told about, suddenly everything starts to make sense. Why information is restricted, why research is limited, why certain topics are ridiculed or discredited. It's not random, it's containment. That's also why we remain anonymous. It's not about mystery or branding, it's a necessity. The closer you get to real connections, the more attention you attract, and that comes with risks. In the end, it all comes down to this. The pieces are already here. Nothing is truly hidden, it's just separated. And the moment someone starts putting it all together, they step outside the version of reality they were taught to believe in.
And what happens then?
Then you begin to understand that reality is not what it seems, and you start asking the one question that changes everything. Who is really in control of the world we live in?